Okay, Cease.
So when you look back on the
You got a
film,
haircut.
Joe- What's that?
You got a haircut.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, I did, ma'am. Thanks for noticing. I'll see if my wife knows, who knows. But you said you're gonna look at film and some things and look back over the turnovers, any more clarity and maybe some explanations moving forward.
Yeah, I think it sometimes you watch film and it's different than what you felt. It's the same. We turn it over too much. We foul too much. And I think the other thing that showed up on film that necessarily didn't show up for me during the game was a lot of times when we didn't get a defensive stop or we had a missed assignment or whatever that is on the defensive end, it directly correlated to something not good happening on the offensive end. And so us being able to have a next play mentality and not let a missed shot, a turnover, whatever that is on the offensive end affect what we do or the next possession. And that showed up a few times on film.
You talked about consistency, and just curious at this point, how do you try and add that into practice or build off of it at this point in the season?
I think it's again just getting our rotations back. We've been without players. We've got players back now and getting back into a rotation, getting back into a good flow system of how we're subbing and how we're doing things and letting those people play together and get a ton of reps.
And how about Janiyah? Is she available for?
She's available, yeah.
How do you fix the fourth quarter? I mean, the way you guys started against Mississippi State, how you finished, especially going on the road now, how do you make that better?
I mean, I think it's the consistency piece because there's times I'm thinking, how do we fix the first quarter? And then there's times where I'm thinking, how do we fix the second quarter? I thought we were flat the second quarter, and that's when Mississippi State went on a run and took the lead going into halftime. And so I think it's consistency. It's just being consistent and putting together a full 40-minute game. We've done that, but we haven't done it nearly enough. And in this league, if you don't figure out how to be consistent and do that, you're not going to come out on the right side of the win column.
And then looking at Ole Miss,
Yeah.
a team coming off a big loss to a South Carolina team, they're obviously going to be hungry to bounce back. I mean, just how dangerous is a team like that? Coming up, two teams, that are both looking for.
Well, I think number one, Ole Miss plays really well at home. What Yo has done in Oxford, Mississippi is just when you look at where that team was when she took over and where they are now, coming off a Sweet 16 last year and the success she's had, they're really, really tough. They are stingy defensively. Offensively, they know where their spots are and they get to them. She's got seasoned vets in Madison Scott and Snetta Collins and some other players who've been with her and know her system and know what she wants. And so when you're preparing for a team like that, you know that there's not a lot of opportunity for you to make mistakes because they don't make mistakes on either end of the floor. And so we've got to be solid and locked in and focused on what it is we do.
When you look at your stats, I mean, other than rebounding and defense, I mean, other stats aren't too high. How do you feel you're going to match up with them on that rebounding and that defense?
I think they want to score in transition, and offensively, they know where their spots are on the floor. You can look at their shot chart and figure out where they want to get the ball to. And so we've got to be really diligent defensively to make sure they don't get there. They're very deliberate in what they do. They know who's taking the shots and where they're coming from, and they're going to get to their spots. And our job is to try to keep them from doing that and force them into a plan B like we do for anybody that's in front of us. This week, it's Ole Miss.
Do you like where your defense is right now?
No. I don't. Is it bad? No. Is it okay? Yes, but we shouldn't be okay defensively. So we've got some work to do to get back to being the defensive team consistently that we are capable of being.
Is that both on the perimeter and inside? Or?
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Is that the way this team is kind of built and structured? I mean, is that kind of the main key? If we're going to get back on track, if we're going to get to winning games, read about getting the shots and having them go in. It all starts with defense.
For us, that's who we are. That's our identity. That's who we're going to be. That's how we should start games. That's how we establish ourselves. And it's got to be the running theme for who we want to be every single day. The way we show up. Listen, we are. I tell them this all the time. We have the potential to be a good team because we play hard and we defend at a high level and we're locked in and we're focused and we play for each other. There's not a person on our roster that can save the day for us. That's not how we're built. That's not who we are. And that's not how we're going to play. And so when we show up and we are tough and we're gritty and we're focused and we have effort and we're locked in, we're pretty hard to beat. And when we show up and we're not those things, we're not so hard to beat. And we've got to find some consistency in being the first thing we talked about and not the latter. And right now, We're not. And, again, we've come a long way from year 1 to year 2, and you look at our roster and we made tremendous strides, but we're still young in experience of winning. Do they want it? Do they come in here every day? I walk in, I don't leave here Sunday night until 8:30, and there's 3 players in the gym getting up shots, and one of them's got tears in their eyes. They want it. They still got to figure out how to get it. And that's our job.
Is that something you try to use, I guess, to help them confidence-wise in that it's, offensively, y'all aren't, like you said, revolved around 1 or 2 people who maybe through a stretch are getting open shots, but they're just not falling and y'all are going to struggle. Y'all are built in a way that if everyone just does a little bit better defensively, collectively across the board, nothing out of this world, but that can lead to big changes.
Yeah, I think, and then offensively, we've got to have 3 or 4 show up. We're not, again, we've had 2 players score 17 and 18, we've lost. That's not just how we're built. We've got to have 3 or 4, and our stats say we should have 3 or 4, and not the same 3 or 4 every night, but we've got to have 4 people offensively to show up.
Is that it? Thank you all.
Thank you.